Hi everyone, welcome to Zoe's Chinese class. And this channel is aimed to help you to learn Chinese from zero level to be able to speak Chinese in daily conversation. So if you are new here, I'm so glad to help you, and I'm gonna share with you on every Tuesday and Thursday. You're gonna learn a lot of Chinese syllables, Chinese grammars, and of course a lot of useful Chinese sentence. So today let's talk what's the difference between Chinese sentence and English sentence, and it's gonna help you to have a general idea about how Chinese sentence structure are built. Exactly like some of my students ask me about, okay, and Zoe, I have already learned a lot of Chinese vocabularies, and for sure some of Chinese sentence, and why I still can speak Chinese fluently naturally, and why every time I made some different mistakes, and why the process is so slow. For example, imagine that when you are students at university and when you need to write an essay, and what is the first way to do it? Think about that. Yes, it's kind of like once you list out the outline of it, then you can finish it really quick, right? So today, let's talk about the outline, which means how Chinese sentence structure is, and especially what's the difference compared to English. So let's step into the Chinese statement sentence first. As we know, grammar can be a confusing subject in your native language, not mentioned to a foreign one. Let's look into how it's done in a typical English statement. Usually, it consists of the following basic elements. Subject can be somebody for something, such as a person. Verb is a word to describe an action, can be watch. Object, things upon which you take the action, such as the TV. And often we will say time and place after that to add more details. It will be like he watches TV at 2 p.m. at home. So now is the point. One of the most significant difference between a Chinese sentence and English one is that the time in the place usually caught before the verbs. Although sometimes they occasionally appears in the very beginning of the sentence before the subjects. However, this rule applies across the board in most Chinese sentences. So if we apply the structure to the English statements we saw earlier, it's gonna be he at 2 p.m. at home watches TV. That's a typical Chinese statement. So in Chinese, it's 他2点在家看电视. Have you got it? It's the most significant difference between Chinese statements to English statements. We put time and place before the verb. So now can you do one sentence by yourself? For example, like he plays video game at 1 p.m. at home. How could you change it into Chinese sentence? So in Chinese statements, it will be like he at 1 p.m. at home plays video game. In Chinese is 他1点在家玩电子游戏. In another hand, that may confuse the beginner students is how the questions are built in Chinese. Let's start by looking into the question words that are used both in English and Chinese. To ask a question, we often involve W words like who for people, when or what time, where for place, what for things. So in Chinese there, 谁 is for people, 几点 is for time, 什么时候 is for what time. 在哪儿 is for where. 什么地方 is for what place or which place. 什么 is generally for what. So here is the point. First of all, in Chinese question sentence, the W words do not always show up in the beginning of the sentence. Secondly, and also it's really good news for you, just to put the W words at the same place as it in the statement sentence, right? It's really good news for you, I think. And another good news for you is, for the rest of the sentence, it's exactly the same as statement sentence. So, it sounds not that difficult. All you need to do just to remember the Chinese version of W words. Then you can make a questions, because you don't need to know, you don't need to remember where should you put W words at question sentence. And also for the rest, question sentence is the same with its statement sentence. So now when you want to ask a question about people, it will be like who at 2 p.m. at home watches TV. In Chinese, it will like 谁在2点在家看电视. So when asked a question about time, of course, we're gonna use W words, when or what time. Think about it. What is the difference? What are you gonna do? First of all, you don't need to put a when at the beginning of the sentence. Secondly, you just put when at the same place as it in statement sentence. Thirdly, for the rest of the question sentence, it's the same as the statement sentence. So it's gonna be like, he, what time, at home, watches TV. 他几点在家看电视. Okay, now let's try to ask a question about a place. And can you do it by yourself? So it's simple. Just put where instead of at home, and it will be like he at 2 p.m. where watches TV. In Chinese, it's 他2点在哪儿看电视. Okay, now let's ask the question about things. And it's pretty easy, right? Since you already got the pattern, just use what replace TV. So it's like he at 2 p.m. at home watch what? In Chinese, you like 他2点在家看什么? That's it. Not that difficult, right? So this is all about today's video. Today we'll learn what is the Chinese statement sentence structure and what is the difference compared to English and the secret of how to make a Chinese statement sentence. Yes, just to put time and place before the verb. It's done, right? Not that difficult. And what's the structure of Chinese question sentence? Yeah, just first of all, you don't need to put a W word in the beginning of the sentence. Secondly, you just put the W word at the same place as it's in the statement sentence. And thirdly, for the rest of the question sentence, it's exactly the same as the statement sentence. So now you can use your own vocabulary to do the practice. For example, like the love snowboarding at winter. In Chinese statements, it will be like they at winter love snowboarding. 他们在冬天喜欢滑雪. Or at winter, they love snowboarding. In Chinese, you would like 在冬天他们喜欢滑雪. Easy, right? And for the questions, for example, like you make a question about person, it's gonna be like who at winter love snowboarding? 谁在冬天喜欢滑雪？ And the question about time, it's gonna be like they when love snowboarding. 他们在什么时候喜欢滑雪？ And the question about things, if like they at winter love what? 他们在冬天喜欢什么？ For next video, we're gonna talk about 是 which means M is R, 会 which means be able to, 有 is which means have, there is, there are, and 想 which means wanna. The different verbs to make different statement sentence in Chinese. And by the way, 是 sentence we already learned it before. And if you haven't checked it yet, please click the video now. And if you think the video helped you a little bit, please give me a thumb up and subscribe me, and so that you won't miss any fast way to learn Chinese. And of course, if you have any comments or suggestions, just drop me a message here or send me an email. And especially for Chinese sentence or Chinese grammars, I'm really into to talk about it with you. So keep in touch, and I'm looking forward to see you guys again.